we looked at the sieve of Eratosthenes and we realized that it works by crossing out multiples of prime numbers. However, what that means is that some numbers get crossed more than once. For example, if you look at 12, 12 will get crossed out when we mark out multiples of 2, also multiples of 3, because 12 is 2 times 6 and 3 times 4. Likewise, for 30, we are going to cross it out for multiples of 2, multiples of 3, multiples of 5. What that means is that there is a degree of repeated work going on in the Eratosthenes sieve. Now, we can see this in action. So notice here, I am marking out all the multiples of 2, 2 being the first prime number. When I get to 3, which is the next prime number, I'm going to mark again, for example, 12, 18, and so on and so forth, which have been marked here. So, you can see that in fact very clearly, all the even numbers which are multiples of 3 are again being marked. Now, look, for example, 30 has been marked here, but when I get to 5, again, I'll see 30 will be marked. So clearly we are doing repeated work. Some numbers are being marked more than once, depends on how many factors that how many prime factors does the number have. In order to avoid this duplication, we have another interesting idea called the Euler Sieve. The key idea in Euler Sieve is to strike out each number only once. Now, this is really a departure from the previous thinking, hence the code is very, very interesting, quite thought-provoking, I would say. The whole idea is that we keep track of what we call the smallest prime factor of every number. Let's just understand what this means. So if I have, for example, 12, 12 is 2 times 2 times 3, which is 2 times 6. The smallest prime factor, hence, is 2. In case of 30, also it's 2. In case of 87, the smallest prime factor is 3. In simple words, the smallest prime number that divides this number. Now we go and look at every number. However, we cross out a number x when we reach the number y, which is given by x divided by SPF of x. Now let's just understand this number so that we understand this better. Basically, in the previous sieve, I was going to cancel out 12 because it's in the path of 2. It was also in the path of 3 later on, clearly from here. So I was going to cancel out 12 twice, but here I'm going to do it only once because I'll cancel out 12 not when I get to 2. In fact, I'll cancel out 12 when the multiplier reaches 6 because 6 times the smallest prime factor of 12, which is 2, is actually 12. So remember, I'm going to cross it out at x by SPF of x, which is 12 by 2 and hence 6. Likewise, look at 30. Previously, I would have crossed it at 2, 3, 5, all of them. Now, I'll not cross it at those. I'll in fact cross it when I get to 15 because again, 30 divided by SPF of 30 is 15. Likewise, for 87, I would cross it when I reach a multiplier of 29 because again, 87 by 3 is 29. Let's see this visualized and then we'll come back to write the code for this. Very, very, very interesting, I would say. So here's my Euler sieve. Looked at the first multiplier, which is 2. And I crossed out 2 times 2, which is 4. Now I go to the next multiplier, which is 3. I crossed out 6 and 9. Again, why did this happen? Because remember, the smallest prime factor of 6 is actually 2. The number which multiplies with 2 to get me 6 is 3. So this multiplier 3 is where I'm crossing out 3 times 2 and 3 times 3. Likewise for 9, smallest prime factor is 3 and 3 times 3 is 9. So I can keep moving further. I go to 4, I cancel out 8. I go to 5, I cancel out 10, 15, 25 because I'm looking at these numbers whose smallest prime factor was 2, 3 and 5 respectively. And that smallest prime factor multiplied by the current multiplier 5 is these numbers. So, think about it. Notice very important difference. Previously in the sieve that we looked at, we used to say current prime because we are looking at the multiples of that current prime, but now we are calling current multiplier. There's a reason for it because the whole philosophy of the algorithm is different, right? So, what we are saying is that, look, I'm taking all the prime numbers so far. I'm crossing out basically those numbers whose smallest prime factor is one of these numbers that has happened in the past, and that smallest prime factor multiplied by the current multiplier is the number that we are crossing out. Now, we can go further, very interesting. For example, 7 crosses out 21, 35, 49. Once again, because 7 times 2 is 14, so 7 cross 14. 7 times 3 is 21. So again, SPF for 21 is 3, and hence I cross it at 7. 35 and 49 likewise. Very different the way, the whole sieve gets formed. But you can clearly see that no number is being repeated, although the whole structure is really quite different, quite fascinating to look at. When I keep doing this, I keep doing this, and I realize that, look, And for example, let's just pause here for a moment. So 37, I go and cross out 74 again because 74's SPF was 2 and the multiplier that got me here was 37. So that's the way to look at it. What's the multiplier that gets this SPF to, let's say, this number? I keep going further, you'll realize that once I reach to, let's say, 50, so I'm scanning through every number, each one multiplier. The moment I get to 48, I cross out 96, 49 crosses out 98, 50 crosses out 100. And at this point, in fact, I have obtained all my primes. Really, really, really interesting. Think about it. Compare and contrast this with the sieve of Eratosthenes, and you'll see the difference, right? Clearly, every number is being crossed out only once over here. Now, how do we achieve this in code? Like I said, the way to think about it is a little different from earlier. Previously we were looking at all the primes and its multiples. Now we are looking at multipliers and seeing, what are the numbers I should be crossing out. So the way I go about it, I'm going to store all the smallest prime factors of a given number. So start with 0, everything initialized to 0. Now I run a loop from 2 until n plus 1. Notice this I is going to take on every number because it's like a multiplier, right? So 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. If I find that the SPF of a number is 0, that number is a prime number, and hence I append this to this list called prime. Um, Once I do this, so for a given I, basically this list keeps evolving. We'll see an evolution a little bit later. This list keeps evolving. I then look at all the numbers that have been formed so far in this list. And I just go and say, okay, let me basically mark out the ith multiple of these P numbers as P, provided this, provided the particular prime P is the SPF. We'll see how this actually works out. The idea is that if I find that the P is more than SPF I, which is the present SPF of the present number, then I just break out. Otherwise, I mark I times P, its smallest prime factor as P. Because remember, I is a multiplier, P is the number that we are looking at. Again, all of this becomes much clearer if we look at an example. Now, in order to understand how this loop actually works and how multiple crosses are avoided, let's run through this code once. So basically, I start with I in the range 2 to n plus 1. So it's basically I start with I equals 2. Remember, the first number is in fact a prime number, which is 2. So primes becomes 2, and I go and say, well, look, SPF 2 is 2. I'm marking all this in blue color because it's a prime number, right? Now I get into this loop for 2 in primes, basically for P in primes, which is P becomes 2. I ask myself a question, is this condition true? Well, not true, because look, SPF of 2 is indeed 2. So this condition is not true. I do not break out. However, I go and set 2 times 2, which is SPF of 4 to 2, because the smallest prime factor of 4 is indeed 2. And I'm crossing it out because this multiplier 2 gets me, with this prime factor, gets me to this 4, right? So very nice way of looking at it actually. But I only cross out 4. Now, next I come to 3. So 3 is also a prime number. That's why SPF 3 becomes, 3. Now again, I look. Now when it comes to 2, this condition is not true. And hence I go and say, well, 2 times 3, which is SPF of 6, is indeed 2. And that is correct. Then I go to 3. SPF of 3 times 3, which is 9, is indeed 3. And that's what happens here. So basically, in 3, I've marked out 3, 6, and 9. Comes to 4, obviously this condition doesn't happen. So prime still remains 2 and 3. Now, look at this. 2 times 4 is 8. And hence I go and say, well, look, SPF of 8 is 2. When it comes to 3, remember, when it comes to P being 3, remember, SPF of 4 was 2. And hence this break comes in. In fact, this is the key point that I'm going to avoid, doing any repeat work. I come to 5. So 5 gets added to my list of SPF. So SPF 5 is 5. And indeed, all multiples of, basically all and thereafter 5 times 2, 5 times 3, and 5 times 5, that gets updated. So as the prime factor being 2, 3, and 5 respectively. Now comes the interesting case of, let's say, 6. Now when I come to 6, the primes are 2, 3, and 5. Notice, however, 6 has already been marked as SPF. Notice for 6, we have already marked SPF as 2, which means that when it comes to this loop here, the only thing I do is to say, okay, look, I'm going to mark 6 times 2, which is SPF of 12 as 2. I'm not going to be bothered with the fact that 3 is also a factor of 6 because 3 is not the smallest prime factor, which means that when P becomes 3 in this loop, 3 is So think about it. This is really, really, really interesting. I think, quite a different way of looking at the whole problem. In the sieve of Eratosthenes, we said, okay, look, let every prime sort of, go and capture all its territory. So went and captured 4, 6, 8, and so on and so forth. But then in the process, it also captured the territory, so-called, of other primes. But here, by shifting the viewpoint, we are saying that, okay, look, every number has a smallest prime factor. Only that multiplier, which multiplied by the smallest prime factor, gets to that number, captures that number, right? So it's kind of like a different way of looking at it, like I said, but very smartly it avoids doing, let's say, multiple crosses. And in fact, this idea can be used to do many other things. We'll see some of these a little bit later. However, before wrapping this up, let's see this work. So here I have my same function implemented. Remember, SPF is the smallest prime factor. So I look through the entire set of multipliers, so 2 until n plus 1. I keep appending to this list primes, and then I run my inner loop on this list primes, looking for that number whose smallest prime factor is one of these numbers in P, and then I go and mark out that smallest prime factor for the composite number. So very interesting. We already saw how this works. We can see this in action and get some sense of how it's working. So let's say if I were to run P SPF, say Euler Sieve 20, so this returns me the list of prime numbers as expected. Also, I can get back the SPF. So clearly 2, 3, 2, 5, 2, because this number is 6. Remember, this is 7, and so on and so forth. If I were to run, let's say, this for a little longer, time, I'm going to get this SPF list being formed. Now, the important bit is to understand is that this list primes is being formed as the loop runs. So I basically run through all the numbers, whichever happens to be prime. I keep appending this to this list. So this list is actually being run on the fly, and so is this SPF, right? So SPF, of course, we have set it all to 0, but it's being updated, as we saw in the visualization, only once for every number. And this is a very interesting point. I hope you found this interesting. Do put some thought to it. Happy to discuss. Video is a part of the WiByte Algorithms on Olympiad track. Do look at our website www.wibyte.in and forever enjoy coding. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye bye.